Howdy y'all, it's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in beautiful and rainy Atlanta, Georgia. Today is July the 21st, 2020, and on today's video I am going to share a quick story with you of my disappointment in the Wright, but it's not the Wright's fault, it's my fault. So we're at what, 300 and let it flash up, 303 hours on the nose, and I have been noticing the past couple of weeks the cut quality is just not up to snuff. So what do you normally do? Well, you change the blades. So I did that. Still didn't correct the problem, and it's not something that was glaringly wrong. It was something that was wrong, but it's hard to put your finger on. It just, the lawns didn't look quite right. Compared to the TrimStar, the cut quality was, well, I'll give it a C-. The TrimStar's cut quality, I would give it an A+. That thing will put a hurtin' on the lawn. But this isn't about the TrimStar. So I just couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, all right, so I checked the air pressure in the tires, made sure they were where they were supposed to be. They were a little off. It's all right to be off maybe 1 PSI in each of the rear tires. If you're off more, it's gonna look a little weird, so that's fine. And I cut one of my customer's yard at 2.5 inches. Now down here in Atlanta, we like to, the customers like short Bermuda. And that's where it's pretty much supposed to be. But the shorter you get it on these uneven lawns, the more anomalies show up if your mower is not adjusted properly. So I cut it, and I was like, man, I put the mower up and I looked at it, I'm like, I can't leave it, like something's not right. So I cut it again the other way. I'm like, something's wrong. So I started looking at the mower. And I'm like, all right, something is not, it's not the blades, because I just changed them yesterday. Something's not right with this deck. Can you see what it is? Can you see? Look at this deck adjustment. Okay. And look at that one. The FBI calls that a clue. My deck is not level. Like, it's way not level. It's not enough to where it's cutting a bad ridge. Now, maybe if I was cutting it 2 inches, it would, but that thing is jacked up. And, okay, so we're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to adjust that. And then I was doing some research on the pitch. Now, if you're not familiar with pitch, at least on the Wright mowers, pretty much all mowers should have a positive pitch, which means the front of the blade is down. And this is exaggerated, but it's down, so it cuts the grass first. And yeah, so it's supposed, this mower is supposed to have 1/8 to 1/4, I think 1/4 is recommended, of positive pitch, which means that the front tip of the blade should be 1/4 inch lower than the rear. And I believe it even states that in the manual. So I am going to get the deck level up front where it's supposed to be. And what I'm going to do is, I've also got brand new tires on here. Now, I've never adjusted the pitch before. So normally I run 20 PSI, and that's really, this thing has a really, really harsh ride. The TrimStar runs 10. And I'm going to drop this down to about 15 PSI, which is would require me to adjust the pitch anyway. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have 15 PSI as standard, and I'm going to show you something that I made that's going to make your life really, really easy and very simple to adjust the pitch. So first, let's get the tires adjusted down to 15 PSI, and then I'm going to show you a little secret that I just came up with. So it's been almost a week since we've had rain here, and I'm very, very glad. We got rained out on one yard, but we'll make it up tomorrow. But the grass really needs it. All right, so let me see what this is rocking right here. All right, we're at 20. All right, so I can see on here where it looks like it used to be. This got shoved up. So I'm going to take an 11/16 inch wrench. Good gosh, these are tight. And just loosen these 2 bolts. And then take a 1/2 inch drive breaker bar. And I'm going to move this down. Looks like about the position where it used to be. Oops, let me do it this way. And I'll retighten it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to show you a shot of this. Well, let me see if I can do it like this with the camera. It's going to be kind of hokey. So we know the blade, the tip of the front blade, right, had the blade going forward to back. I'm just going to lay this here. We know that the front tip of the front blade, right here, the cutting surface should be 3 inches. So I'm going to take my 3-inch gauge, and we can see that's almost 3 inches. In fact, I'm going to call that 3. So we're going to focus on the back. And the reason I like these gauges is because it's much easier to use than trying to get a tape measure in there. And if you make some sturdy blocks like this, you could, let's see, that's way off. That's more like 4 inches. All right, so you could make some sturdier blocks and actually place them under here and then adjust it where they wouldn't move. So we're going to have to lower we're going to have to do some major lowering, because this should be 3 1/4 back here, and this is probably more like almost 4. So that's not good. So let me I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. See where we are. The problem with this side over here is that it's near impossible to see. I don't think the camera is going to be able to see in here. Maybe. It's darn near impossible to see because it's so low. I can't even get my hand in here. All right. So I've got my watch is getting caught. Take this off. All right, so I've got my 3-inch block here. And this side is too low. Okay, so I need to raise this up just a hair. All right, I'm going to do that and just put you guys on the tripod. There's no way to do this without somebody helping me. And you actually getting a shot. Now I can already tell this procedure is going to be pretty frustrating because there's four adjustments. I wish they had put a gauge or something, like gauge markings like on a swing arm of a motorcycle on here. Yeah, it's just going to be a little frustrating here because you move one side, it's going to change everything. So Alright, so if I move this a little bit this way, whoops. So I'm just going to take my gauge, and I've got my finger under here, and I'm just feeling the tip of it. See, the problem is I've gotten to the end of my travel. So I'm right at 3 inches here. Let me see what it did to the other side. All right, that's interesting. So it actually got the other side closer than it was, but clearly this is not equal, which leads me to believe that it's probably the back that is way out of whack. All right, so whew. Pink lemonade. It's how we roll in the South. I gotta tell you guys, this was incredibly frustrating. I had the camera off for about an hour. I'm almost going to tell you, if you have a dealer that will actually spend the time to do this, let them do it. But you know what? Who knows how much this would cost? I have no idea. So here's the issue. Let me show you. I got to tell you this. These are a lifesaver. These little blocks right here are the gauges. So I am maybe a 1/16 of an inch off. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, but I want to show you something. So when I first measured it, it was a little more than 3 inches at the front and was near 4 in the back. Okay, so the deck is now pretty much at a 1/4 inch positive pitch. But look, so I still have this much room here on the front and almost none on here. Now that defies logic, which tells me there's something else wrong. But the blades are level now, or they're properly pitched. Now back here, I loosen the both sides, and just Ed Wright, come on, man. This was very, very, very frustrating, and the problem is nothing's bent on here. I don't have any chains missing. I've never messed with this rod here. That's probably this way, you know, and everything checks out. But what bothers me is that's not equal anymore. And I'll have to go back and look at some of my original videos to see if it was, but who knows? That could have been the problem the whole time. So yeah, the deck is now properly pitched, like it's supposed to be, and I don't know, man. I don't even know if I want to tell you guys to do this. I mean, you should try it just so you can feel the pain. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you I could do it faster, but something is not right here, because I am almost dead positive, unless those chains 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, something is not right with not right. Something is not correct with the deck assembly. It's got to be. The blades are level. Now, I guess the blades could be bent, right? I don't know, but 3 inches is 3 inches is 3 inches, no matter what blade. When you set the height, it should be. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll test it out tomorrow and see what kind of cut quality we get. This is definitely not something you want to try to do in the field. You need to have a super level, flat, smooth surface like this. Don't even attempt to do this in the grass, because, and you know, I don't know if a 1/16 of an inch is going to make a difference. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm very frustrated. I'm very tired. Fortunately, we've got a nice rain and it sounds nice. So I'm going to tell you to do this on your mower. At least check it. Okay, so find out whatever brand mower you have. If it's a different brand, find out what the pitch is supposed to be. I'm assuming they're probably all supposed to be about a 1/4 inch positive pitch. I don't know. Make sure, number one, make sure you've got the proper air pressure in the tires that you're going to be running. If I happen to do a different air pressure in here, then yeah, that's going to, and since this is at 15 psi, right, the mower is down a little bit, so it was even worse at 20. Now, just one thought, you could, and also that's with new tires. Remember, if the tread wears, it's going to sit a little lower. You could manipulate the air pressure if you're having trouble at least getting the rear done. I'm going to check the air pressure again to make sure it's exactly 15 in each side. I'm going to be really mad if it's not. I know I have a leak in this tire. It's a brand new tire. I'm going to address that in a little while, but yeah. So anyway, let's not belabor this any longer. Try it, check your deck pitch, test it out, make some handy little gauges. I did that out of a paint stick, by the way. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed and would like to continue to feel my pain as I put out videos, please do so. Hit that little bell and you'll be notified when you are able to view more of my frustrating videos. So with that being said, have a great day and I will talk to you later.